I've kept this to myself for 15 years. When I was 10, me and my two best friends walked into the woods behind my house and found something none of us have ever been able to explain. This is that story.
My house was at the very end of a cul-de-sac, and right past the backyard fence, woods. Not like a little strip of trees, I mean actual woods. Dense, old, the kind where you lose signal within 50 feet, and the light comes through in these shafts that make everything look kind of golden and unreal. The kind of place that feels like it belongs to a different time. Those woods were basically our whole lives from June through August, no cap. Me and my two boys, Kai and Dre, we'd been inseparable since second grade. Like, our moms used to joke that they'd accidentally had triplets because wherever one of us was, the other two were right there. Every summer, without fail, we'd be out there from 9 in the morning until someone's parent physically came outside and started yelling. We had a whole system in those woods. Names for specific trees, a favorite log we used as a bench. We knew which paths looped back and which ones actually went somewhere new. We thought we knew those woods the way you know your own bedroom. Completely, totally, no surprises left. That summer, the summer I was 10, we were fully locked in on Minecraft. And because we were 10 and honestly kind of unhinged, we decided we were going to play it IRL, like in the actual physical world. So every day we'd go out with these little missions, find sticks of a certain size, stack rocks in specific ways, look for clayish mud near the stream, pretend we were building a shelter or crafting tools. It sounds unhinged now, but in the moment, we were dead serious. Kai had a whole notebook where he was tracking our inventory. The man was committed. I say all of this because I want you to understand, on the day it happened, we were not trying to do anything scary. We weren't pushing limits, we weren't daring each other into something dumb. We were just three kids playing a game, completely caught up in our own little world, not paying any attention to how far we'd walked. That's how we ended up further into those woods, further than we had ever been before. We'd been out there maybe 2 hours at that point. The air had that specific late summer feeling. Heavy, warm, damp earth, pine, and something almost sweet underneath it. The kind of air that makes you feel drowsy and alive at the same time. And then the trees started thinning out. The ground changed, softer, kind of spongy under our feet. The light changed too, less golden, more flat and gray, like clouds had rolled in, but only over this one specific area. And then we stepped out of the tree line, and we saw it. The marsh. It was maybe half a football field wide, still, dark water, tall reeds, thick greenish moss along the banks. The surface barely moved. And here's the thing, I didn't register it at the time, but I definitely notice it now when I think back. No birds. No insects. No rustling. Just this flat, heavy quiet that felt less like silence and more like the whole place was holding its breath. Kai said something like, "Yo, we found the biome." Dre laughed. I remember smiling. We stood there at the edge for maybe 30 seconds, just taking it in. It was one of those spots that feels genuinely untouched. Soft, almost distant. Like the world had just forgotten about it. Like no human being had ever stood exactly where we were standing. That was the last normal moment. I don't know who noticed him first. None of us do. One second, I was looking at the reeds across the marsh, and then something about them was just wrong. There was a shape. My brain refused to process it at first, just a weird growth on a tree, just a stump shaped kind of like. And then it moved.
We ran. I don't have a clean memory of the first second. One moment he was turning, and the next I was already sprinting, legs moving faster than they ever had. Dre was screaming, not words, just sound. Kai was ahead of me, breathing in hard, ragged bursts. I clipped the road, nearly went down. Caught myself. I'm going. Stopping didn't exist. The whole time I'm running, I'm waiting to hear something behind me. Footsteps, reeds parting, branches snapping. Nothing. Just silence, just the sound of us. We didn't stop at the edge of the woods, didn't stop in the yard. We sprinted straight through the back door and collapsed on the floor. All three of us gasping. The AC hit my face, and for half a second I felt safe, and then immediately didn't. Across to the window, the yard was completely still. The woods looked normal, like nothing had happened at all. Kai said quietly, "What was that?" Not even as a question. None of us answered. We never told anyone that day, not ever, until we were in our senses and confirmed it to each other. Yeah, it was real. We all saw it. I think part of it was that saying it out loud made it more real than we could handle, and I didn't want someone explaining it away. I needed what I saw to be what I saw. I moved away from that house at 16, drove past it a few years ago. The beautiful whole neighborhood where those roots used to be. The march is gone, paved over. I genuinely don't know how to feel about that. When I finally talked about it, the 2 in the morning, someone's apartment, we did what adults do. Look for rational explanations, you know. Probably even. I'm not saying there was a monster in those woods, but here's what I keep coming back to. When he turned his head, he didn't look surprised. Didn't look startled or confused. It looked like he had been expecting us. Anyway, I'm 25 now. I don't scare easily, but I don't go into unfamiliar woods alone. I built a story around, honestly. I tried to figure out if that's rational or something I've built a story around, and honestly, it could probably be both.